Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending where you are. Welcome to ALPOUGH. I am ALPOUGH. This is my 90th installment, and I am glad to be here to send you off on your happy Friday. Welcome those who are coming in right now and those who will be watching here later, today, tomorrow, next year, or after that. Thank you all. I hope you had a good day and you're getting ready to do something for your weekend here. I am going to be working as usual. And today, if you hadn't seen today, it was a really good show. We had a raid in from Amanda Darling, and we had about another 13 people that came in today, and it was really a fun show. It was kind of a send-off show. And so if you want to check it out, as I said, I'm on two times a day at 2:30 and 6:30, although today I went in a little bit earlier. But not normally I don't. I usually do it, except on Fridays. Although I think maybe next week will be my last Friday. I'll be back at 2:30. So thank you all for coming in. Let's get started here. Why don't we? And my wife says, welcome, everyone. We both welcome you. We're both in this together, and it's so great to have her. So let's start up here today. Let's talk about what we want to talk about. Today we are talking about boundaries in space. As you know, we have a lot of things about boundaries that we always like to understand for you. All right. Everyone, do you know your boundaries? I think that's very important to know what your boundaries are. And I know that's in every situation that you run into about having it when you go out in public, work, relationship, political, it really goes in. And boundaries are emotional, boundaries are physical, boundaries are financial, boundaries are about everything that you can imagine. So everyone has their stated boundary. But again, maybe you have open boundaries. Maybe you have opened yourself up where you're wide open and you're just letting anybody in. Okay, so anybody can come in and basically tell you what to do, and you'll do it because you trust them and you don't trust yourself. Okay. Then you can also have what's called closed boundaries, where you don't let anyone in. Okay, you're not letting anyone in. We're talking about CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, trauma that is caused, and it causes you to close up and not let anyone in, right? So, it could be being within other people's boundaries. So, for example, you might be in some type of a relationship that other person rules. Now, I know that usually, or generally speaking, sometimes one person has the upper hand in the relationship. And yeah, like my wife, I said it. I've had to discover my boundaries with it, which is open boundaries, but I volunteer. So a relationship, again, once you can agree what your boundaries are, it makes it easier on everybody. Okay. And it takes, certain situations that you could see what the person's established boundaries are. So no matter how many times I ask my wife to eat guacamole, okay, that she puts up her boundaries. Okay. You see, I don't rule nothing. I can't even get her to eat guacamole. So It's good to laugh about yourself. Okay. So anyway, keeping somebody at arm's length, you can tell when someone's keeping you at arm's length, if they're closed boundaries or it's in a situation that wasn't handled. And so that's why it's better to over communicate than it is to under communicate. So that when you don't feel that someone has the upper hand, you would prefer people walking hand in hand as opposed to somebody having the upper hand. So coming down when you're establishing boundaries, you want to make it clear that you want to be on equal footing. Okay. And that means that everybody is in harmony with what the agreement that was made with the boundaries parameters set up beforehand. When people break the agreements, this messes up people's boundaries. And so what it can cause is you feel like you have 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot on a banana peel. The whole thing can slip right out from under you if you don't state your boundaries. Stating your boundaries, writing your boundaries. If you have to, write it out. If it comes down to each person, you can write it out. You can sign an agreement. It's pretty easy. Now, most people are, handshake. You got to watch them handshake agreements, though. Believe me, I know you really do, because you can get royally screwed. So, but sometimes, to be able to state your boundaries is really very important. And to repeat your boundaries. Because sometimes it takes a while for them to really understand it. If you're making your stand, if you're stating your boundaries, sometimes you have to repeat them. And this might be one of your issues, is the fact that you don't repeat them enough. You're not speaking what your true truth is. And when you don't do that, it lowers your self-esteem. It brings up the past. It adds to trauma in your life even more. Because boundaries, like most of us, were very complex. Now, if you could understand, if you could say that to yourself, I'm complex. I am. I really have to understand myself better, because if I don't understand myself better, I can't state them to the relationships that I'm in. All right. So now, within these boundaries, though, if you have an open mind, compromise is a good thing sometimes. I'm not saying to be all stiff like this brick wall that's behind me. I built it myself. So compromise is a good thing when it works out for both parties. It doesn't work if it's always one-sided. So sometimes not. You can't compromise. But you should be open about it, because it shows you give a little and you want to get a little. But again, it does depend. And sometimes you cannot compromise those boundaries. All right. because it's crossing the line. Now, everybody moves the line sometime. You can say, you know, I moved the line. I moved the line back, and I'm going to give you a little bit more space in this. But that's it. All right. And, you know, I have a saying within myself. Once it's crossed, once that line is crossed, you can't go back. You can't go back. Now, sometimes it's easier for some people to do it than others. All right. Some people they say it and do it in another word by being angry, lashing out, and you're wondering what's going on with them when it was the other person who didn't, you know, they broke the agreement of, you know, what the boundary was set. All right. So I'll give you some, you know, I'll give you some advice. This is free, by the way. This is free. All right. You can take this one or leave it. But I'm just giving you everything I am about the experience. But I'll just tell you this about my experience. Once a woman once you cross that line with a woman, it's over, Jack. So you better make sure that you don't cross that line. You better know what that line is, okay? So once you crossed it, you can't go back. Now remember that once it's crossed, you can't go back. Okay? Don't go back. Okay? Don't go back. Because if you go back, you can definitely expect the same. If you take the power away from someone by doing your boundaries, and then you give it and you go back to them, then you can expect the exact same treatment. They might change for a day, but they already know they got you when you come back, unless they make some agreement. But I'm telling you right now, expect the same. So stand your ground. Okay? Stand your ground. And if you stand your ground, you'll be able to deal with your boundaries one at a time. Become an adult of your mind, an adult of your thought, because you are what you think about. Go with your gut. Your brain and your gut are connected. You can ask your brain, should I stay in this? And if the head and the gut talk, you'll know. And what's the result of that? You know, standing your ground. What's the result? Well, you get respect. You'll get respect. You respect yourself. Self-respect is almost as important as self-love. And you'll not only lift up your respect for yourself, but you'll have more respect within your spirit. And that's the most important thing. What do they say? Strong spirit, strong mind, strong body, weak spirit, weak mind, weak body. So your spirit is so important to keep lifting, keep standing your ground, keep earning your respect, keep lifting your spirit up. This world isn't easy to live in. I can tell you that right now. Every single day is different. Every day. So develop your spirit. Live your dream. Make that dream happen. Maybe it's to be free from a relationship. Maybe it's to be free from a job. Whatever that is, don't be walled in. Okay? So now grab that space and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. That space of keeping moving forward. So I want to thank everybody for coming here today. This is going to be more of a short and sweet thing. Go over here. And so my wife says, welcome everyone. In case you haven't been here, this is my 90th show. We're going to be hitting number 100, and we're going to really go all out here in the next. It's getting ready to change again. I'm so excited. I'm getting ready to do my 100th show. I'm in my third month, and we've had over 10,000 views. Now we're up to 140 subscribers. So I'm here to thank everyone who's ever took an opportunity to watch me for even a minute. You know, it's very important that you stay for the whole show. But again, just the fact that you're coming in, and I love you, and I want you to have a happy Friday and a great weekend. And there's only one thing left. ALPOUGH. That's me. First name Michael, middle name Comet. I love you. You have a great weekend now, and I'll be back. All right? I'll be back. Okay? 2:30 on Monday. Oh, I think I'm going to do a Sunday show early in the morning too. I forgot. Amanda Darling is doing a sunrise thing, and I come on after her, and I'll be on at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to be doing a bonus show this week. Okay, be my 11th show Sunday morning. Okay, until then, my friend. Until then.